Welcome back. These tough economic times have many parents concerned about their children's future. But perhaps it's never too soon to show them how to manage their own money. And that's exactly what Stacia Morris is doing. She's the Director of Youth Programs for Teen Money 101. Also joining us is 12-year-old Alvara Damas, who completed a money workshop. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much for having us today.
We're happy to have you. Alvara, let's talk to you first. Tell us about this workshop.
Well, I think this workshop was basically about how to save your money and develop a good budget. And as you grow up, I think everybody should have a budget.
Did you know anything about managing money before you took the workshop?
Well, no, I just like to save my money in my piggy bank.
Do you keep it in one spot, just the piggy bank, not under mattress and all that kind of stuff?
I just keep it in one spot.
And have you talked to other kids your age who also understand the importance of this?
Kind of. I talked to some of my friends about it who took this class with me.
Okay, we're going to come back to you in just a second, but Stacia, this whole concept, your sister came up with this notion for the book.
Yes. Stacia, she was vacationing in the Cayman Islands. Her friend had recently retired, and she had financial designations, and she said, as a good friend, I need to make sure that you're well situated. So she took a look at her friend's finances and realized that she had assets, but she didn't have cash coming in every month to be able to handle her expenses. So her friend essentially had to not retire, go back to work. She'd left her government teaching job. And when her friend dropped her off at the airport, she said, Stacia, where was this information when we were growing up? Because she had a master's degree, taught for 30 years, but I had never done a budget, didn't know really how to handle her finances. Stacia had 3 hours at an airport, and she decided to start a love story to her niece and nephew, Denzel and Brianna, and it turned into the book. It was the first, she did income and expense, because to her that's really the foundation. You have to understand income and expenses and how they impact your world. So it really started off as a love story, and it evolved into a book.
I mean, this is something that any adult could read and needs to read as well, but it is important that you do start young, I would imagine.
You know why? Because you want kids to start establishing good habits. You want them to not have a fear of money, because as adults, sometimes when the pressures of life kick in, people have so many fears associated with money, they really don't want to look at their budget. They're afraid to look at their financing. And when you start with them when they're young, and we do so many things, it's very interactive, the teaching style. We want the kids to participate.
Give us an example.
Okay, we have them choose a career, for example. We will put up 100 careers, and the students, like Albert, will pick a career, and we don't show them what the salary is yet.
Okay.
Then the next step is we show them the salary, and we break out calculators, and we use government stats, and we say, okay, most people spend about 34% of their income on housing. So we have them use a calculator to break down how much do they have for housing, how much do they have for transportation, how much for things like entertainment. And so that they get to really peek into their future to see what will their financial picture look like if they really stick with that career.
So how was that kind of, just an example like that exercise for you? Was it fun? Was it difficult? Were you able to manage your money? Did you buy a house?
Actually, it was kind of fun, but then again, at some points it was difficult because after the whole thing, she mentioned that you should always have like a backup option. So say if I wanted to be like a pro football player as I grow older, what if I get injured? Like, what would I want to be? Like, I still have like a whole
like a plan B.
Yes,
right?
You should have a plan B.
And you should have a little money tucked aside somewhere.
Yes.
To be able to have that reserve for yourself. You only took one class?
Yes, I actually took one class. It lasts for 8 weeks.
And were you able to also help out, like your parents, your mom, your dad, or aunts, uncles? Do they come to you for advice?
Not really.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What was your profession? Do you remember when you were in the workshop? What kind of jobs did you have? Were you given?
I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't remember.
All right. Would you recommend another teenager should take this kind of workshop to learn about money? Is it a good idea?
I think it's a good idea because, like, if you go older, like, say if you don't know how to manage your money, how would you ever be able to have a business or handle something like that?
All right. What are some tips that we should know?
Sure. Whether you're a student or an adult, it's important to have a budget.
Okay.
It's important for, if you're a teen, to understand where income comes from. If you're a teen, it might be that your income is comprised from money you get from your parents for an allowance. You might have a job. You might have birthday money. But we want kids to start to track where their money comes from and what they spend it on. Because there are times, if they're working during summer when they have more money, they've got more money to spend, but it's also a good time to be saving money so that when they're not working during the school year and they still want the movie money and they still want the pizza money, they have money for later as well. So definitely understanding where the money is coming from, budgeting, and we want them to be in a surplus situation where they've got extra money left over. And this is whether you're a teen or an adult, so that when something comes up, it might be something fun, might be something unexpected, but you've got funds set aside for that as well. And so that you're planning, you're making plans for your money rather than just spending it and you don't know where it goes.
So don't open up the accounts that have a 21% interest and think that because you can pay the minimal amount on, say, a credit card, instead use debit cards, things like that.
Absolutely.
Cash, whatever.
Yes, we actually do exercises where we have a list of different things students or anybody can purchase, and we ask the students to pick, what's the best way to pay for this? Is it anything from, let's say, a pack of gum to buying something on the internet? You know, is it a credit card? There are times when it might make sense to use your credit card, but we really encourage students to use cash and debit cards so that they can really track their finances and their spending money that they have. But an example like that, we want them to be thinking about things like, if you have a roommate and you're heading out of town and you're leaving the rent money, how do you leave it? Do you leave cash? Do you leave a check? We want them to know that it's important to have records sometimes of your money and the transactions that you make.
Well, we know people can go on your website and read more of your tips and learn a bit more. Albert, you've been a real pleasure. I know you're going to be very wealthy one day and manage your money very wisely, and I would hope that I'll still be your friend in case I need to come here for a loan, right? Thank you, Sherry Ann. And thank your sister, too. Let me have, can I have this book?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, I'm sure I could benefit from it as well. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thanks for having us.
Well, next on Here and Now, a New York exhibit that celebrates the revolt of slaves in Haiti.